This is a spiritual person's guide to dealing with negative people. And let me be absolutely clear about what I mean by negative people. I don't mean someone who doesn't like you or want to do the things you want to do, or that you're naturally not in harmony with. And I don't mean anyone who's just not competent, so when they try to do things, it doesn't always turn out in a way that helps people around them. I mean people whose primary purpose is to empower themselves by hurting and disempowering others. And this form of behaviour has normally come about because they've given up on helping themselves. They can't improve themselves to make things better, so they start to hurt others. Normally, this is because they're trapped in one emotion and one way of trying to deal with things in life. And they're confused about what's happening. So, what they're doing is absolutely perfectly correct, and it's not working, therefore other people must be to blame. So, when somebody comes into your life, or is in your life, who's like this, what do you do? My first bit of advice is if you can avoid dealing with them completely, do. There may be a natural urge to try to help people who are in a situation which is ineffective for them. But in my experience, the perceptional trap is so strong that anything you do will normally backfire. So for example, one very common trap is to be trapped in the world of battle. So you see everything as conflict. You're in competition with your neighbours as to what belongings you have. You're in competition with your friends as to who's the most popular. Everyone's in competition. And because you see everything as a competition, you believe everyone else does. So if someone comes to you and tells them something really good that's happened in their life, you see it as them rubbing it in or trying to show how much better they are than you. If someone says they want to help you, they're trying to prove that they know more than you. Each and every action can be seen as an aggressive act that needs to be fought back to. Something that needs retaliation. If you do gain the trust of someone who is in this emotional world, no matter what you say, even if you make absolutely clear that they're fighting with all these people and you want to help them stop, because of that viewpoint, they will believe that you are saying that you're going to be an ally to help them battle against other people. And as soon as they realise that's not true, which may take a very long time because everything you say is interpreted in that way, they will feel you've turned on them or deserted them. And if you're not on their side, you must be against them. Likewise, a very common situation is someone who's caught in a sense of lack. They don't feel they've got enough money, and they're so desperate to have money that they spend every penny they get. They don't feel they get enough love from their partner or their friends, so much so that they crave it and do things to seek it, and it wears people out, so people don't have enough emotions to give, and that creates that lack. So they're so stuck in want that they'll seek out help from people. And when you say, yes, I'm going to help you, we're going to create a situation of abundance, they hear, I'm someone who'll give you long-term attention. So when you're talking to them and trying to help them through their problems, their goal isn't to really solve the problem, their goal is to keep this happening. And there will come a point where, in the process of trying to fix things, you try to hand the responsibility to them, because that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to make them self-sufficient, and they will thwart any attempt at escape. because that would mean losing your attention, and when you start to try to hand things over, they'll feel deserted and hurt by you. So unless you can see very clear signs that the person who's caught in an emotional trap really wants to change and really wants to be free, it's best not to interact with them at all. If you have to interact with this person who attacks others and disempowers them, and I don't mean this directly, it can be very subtle ways you can disempower other people and manipulate them. If you have to interact with them, here's what you should do. First, protect yourself. Make sure you don't give any personal information. In extreme situations, actually feed disinformation. Make sure that you yourself are aware that this is how things are going to work. And then look at what they want. You can understand someone by what they covet. Not what they say they want, what the actual actions they do causes. Normally, there's an ongoing outcome, which could be conflict, or it could be emotional drama. There's all sorts of options, and you can get trapped in almost any emotion. The examples I gave are just the most common you'll find. Maybe they're after power. Maybe it's just they want to feel powerful. But have a look and see what they really want. And then, when you interact with them, make sure your suggestions are the next step for them. And this is a really important thing. So there's a tendency for you to see what could cure the situation completely. But to someone that caught in that trap, someone who's that destructive, medicine looks like poison to them. So you need to look at a very subtle movement that makes them feel it's moving in their direction. So maybe somebody who's caught in battling could start to battle their inner demons too, that kind of thing. Make sure that you make them do what you want. Because if you don't control them, they will control you. And you will end up in the same realm, the same emotional trap they are. So someone who enjoys emotional drama will take you into a dramatic world. Someone who is looking for conflict will make you battle them. So be clear about what you want from this person. Restrict the amount of contact you have, and make sure that you do not become part of their world, the area that they completely control. Try to move the interaction into an environment, or at least an emotional environment, that you can control, where it's your world. And now here's the final and most important aspect. Try to benefit from having to interact with this negative person. In Tibetan monasteries, they do a thing where when you're meditating, they may have a training partner bang on the wall to frustrate you, and you need to learn to overcome that. In some monasteries in Japan, you're forced to eat your food at high speed. So view this as a training partner who is going to challenge you in various different ways, and your goal is to bring a harmonious, good outcome for everyone involved, no matter what tests they put to you. And this way you have a very attentive training partner who isn't going to forget to apply some tests to you on each day that you, or each time you interact with them. that you can benefit from in your life.